Good evening. Our top story tonight, Mike Tomlin is officially back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Eagles are out of the playoffs. Jason Kelsey has retired. They are in shambles. They could use a coach like Mike Tomlin. Same with the Dallas Cowboys. They're out of the playoffs as well. It was a wild card weekend. So many blowouts. One amazing game that I was fortunate enough to attend. So we're going to break all of that down here on Player Profiler today. What a weekend. And also welcome back to me. Yes, I am back in action. Was out of office all last week. So excited to be back here talking to you about Super Wild Card Weekend. My goodness, so much happened while I was away. Black Monday, so many coaches fired. But we do know one coach that will be sticking with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is officially back, or at least he plans to be back. He has told his team that he is back. You never know. The Seattle Seahawks definitely didn't have the same outcome with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll told the team that he planned to be back, and then he was not. So there is a small possibility that Mike Tomlin could be moving on, but it looks like Mike Tomlin is back. He is in the final year of his contract. When asked last night a question starting with, "You are in the final year of your contract," Mike Tomlin just walked out. He is tired of answering the same question over and over and over again. But now he has a new question on the horizon. Who will be his quarterback in 2024? Because it ain't going to be Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, as we've talked about several times, was benched for Mason Rudolph. Kenny Pickett got hurt, yes, but he was playing so poorly before getting hurt that the Steelers have said, okay, we're just going to stick with Mitch Trubisky. And then Mitch Trubisky doesn't play well. Okay, we're just going to stick with Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph gives us a better chance at winning than Kenny Pickett. And that's all you need to know about the situation. Kenny Pickett will be back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He will be a backup with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they will target a new quarterback. I am telling you that now. Look for Russell Wilson to land in Pittsburgh. We've also heard rumors that he could go to the Minnesota Vikings, the Atlanta Falcons. Lots of options, but whatever the case, someone new is going to be throwing to Deontay Johnson, who did have the one touchdown pass from Mason Rudolph and 48 yards on 4 receptions, though Pat Freiermuth leads the team with 76 yards receiving, tied for the lead with 5 receptions, ties with George Pickens, who has 50 yards on his 5 grabs, 11 targets. George Pickens more targets than Deontay Johnson, and then he fumbles as well. So not best day for George Pickens, who is furious. Fans throwing snowballs at him. It is just all too much for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so Mike Tomlin will be back with a new roster, and we've got to figure some things out. Najee Harris calls out the team in the postgame saying that there needs to be more in-house rules. They need more discipline. That has to be a shot at Coach Mike Tomlin, who is known as one of the most lenient coaches in the NFL. So things could be changing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the more they change, the more they stay the same. We're unaware at the time of this recording. Now, granted, news could break during this show. News could break after this show has been recorded, and you could have information that I don't. But as of now, Mike McCarthy and Nick Sirianni are back as the head coaches of the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. That does not mean they are back for good. That does not mean they are safe. That just means as of this moment, both are here, and both really could use a Mike Vrabel, a Mike Tomlin, one of the Mikes instead of Mike McCarthy. Though the players do want Mike McCarthy back in Dallas. Haven't heard the same with Nick Sirianni. We haven't really heard a whole lot about how players actually feel about Nick Sirianni, but we'll get right to that after this word from the Podfather.
Oh, I see it every day online, every single day. Hey, that looks like a great fantasy team in an 8-team league. Oh, wish I could be in a league with you, right? Well, guess what? Now you can respond with, sure, let's play on Bettle. That's the beauty of this platform. This new Bettle platform standardizes all position scoring. So you just load your team and you challenge your friend, your colleague, Twitter troll, and you can browse other teams and issue challenges. Bettle is revolutionizing fantasy football. And with code UNDERWORLD, you get a $100 instant deposit match plus a free $10. So even if you deposit $20, you get $50. Think about that. So go to Bettle.com. The code is Underworld. Bettle.com. The code is Underworld. Or click a link in the description. It's fun to be right. Now, I know many of you are looking for a secret weapon for your Dynasty League, and I have it. It's called the Dynasty Dominator app. You go to the App Store, go to Google Play. It's right there. It's $5 to download, and then every year it's $5 to load the next incoming class of rookies. You can add Superflex, add tight end premium. It's incredible because it allows you to look up players. It allows you to vote on whether a player is a buy, hold, or sell, and then see the market sentiment on that player. And you can compare their lifetime value rating from Player Profiler to their Dynasty ADP at the FFPC, all in the price lookup tool. And beyond that, we have a trade analyzer, so you'll never lose another Dynasty trade again. And in our settings, you can set this is a win now team, this is a rebuilding team, and then we let you compare players. Look at their metrics side by side, prospect metrics, NFL metrics. It's all there. It's $5 in the App Store. There's some add-ons for Superflex and to buy the upcoming rookie class. Every year, you're going to spend $5 on this thing, and it's going to be well worth it.
We are back, and as of now, Mike McCarthy is still the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and the players want him to be back. We heard from multiple players after the game saying that they truly believe that this team is close, that despite the outcome, despite not looking prepared at all, that this team is what's going to get it done, that Mike McCarthy is the guy to get them there. So we will see if Jerry Jones fires his head coach or brings in Mike Vrabel. Doesn't sound like he's going to bring in Bill Belichick because Bill Belichick obviously wants control and Jerry Jones doesn't want to give up control. So we will be monitoring that over the next couple of days. And in the meantime, we know what happened. Dak Prescott throws for 403 yards. He's in comeback mode. He is slinging it all over the yard because they are down early in the game. Throws 2 interceptions. One of them not his fault. I actually didn't see the other one. I was a little bit busy during this game, so didn't get to fully watch that. Jake Ferguson catches all 3 touchdowns from Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb, 17 targets, catches only 9 of them, still 110 yards. CeeDee Lamb is just so good. It's a big 4 at this point. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those are the 4 guys in Dynasty football, the 4 best young receivers in the NFL. Obviously, Tyreek Hill and some others up there. Puka Nacua, maybe you put in there as well, but we'll get to that in a moment. But Dallas Cowboys, 8-0 at home this year, 16 straight wins at home. And then they lose in round 1 of the playoffs at home. Embarrassing. And embarrassing for the Philadelphia Eagles, too. They started the season 10-1, go 1-6 down the stretch, including the loss in the playoffs. And just not a good game at all. 32-9, they're defeated by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jalen Hurts is still not himself. He throws for 250 yards, touchdown pass to Dallas Goedert, but only 5 rushing yards. And you knew it was over when they score the touchdown. There's a flag on the play on the extra point. So the Eagles get to the 1-yard line. They go for the tush push and it fails. Granted, part of it fails because of a face mask on Jalen Hurts, but an even bigger part of it failing is Vita Vea. Vita Vea is just a force up the middle, stuffs Jason Kelce. And unfortunately, Jason Kelce is now going to retire, told his teammates in the post game that he's going to retire. He debated it last year, but wanted to run it back for another chance at the Super Bowl after the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. 1 more season from Jason Kelce, and it now looks like he's going to ride off into the sunset. And it's just so unfortunate that you can't always have the storybook ending. Jason Kelce deserved better than this embarrassing loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but that's life in the NFL. This is no longer the same Philadelphia Eagles team that won a Super Bowl way back when. It's just not the same at all. Fletcher Cox, defensive tackle, Brandon Graham, edge rusher. They are both free agents. They have both played every season of their career with the Philadelphia Eagles. And what's going to happen with Lane Johnson, the right tackle? He's getting up there as well. Is he going to retire? Lot of movement for the Philadelphia Eagles. DeAndre Swift, Boston Scott, and Rashad Penny are all free agents. That's 3 of their 4 running backs. Quez Watkins, their wide receiver 3, is a free agent. All 3 of their linebackers, Nicholas Morrow, Zach Cunningham, and Shaq Leonard, are free agents. It's going to be a new Philadelphia Eagles team in 2024. We'll see if that has Nick Sirianni. We'll see if Mike Vrabel could be the answer for the Philadelphia Eagles. That would be my choice personally, because the brash, arrogant, asshole Nick Sirianni vibe, that works when you're winning. And we're not privy to inside the locker room, but I have to imagine that gets pretty damn grating when Nick Sirianni is that same cocky asshole, but you're losing. So we'll see what happens, what the Philadelphia Eagles choose to do, but going to be some changes at the very least. At least a new center, probably kick right guard Cam Jurgens into center. They drafted him as a center 2 years ago to replace Jason Kelce eventually. Now it looks like that could be the time. Or they could draft a new center, or they could draft a right guard, or they could move Landon Dickerson, their left guard, who played center at Alabama, to center. They have a lot of options here for the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Rams have a lot of options going further forward. Matthew Stafford says he's going to be back in 2024, and he's got Puka Nacua, and Puka Nacua is just the next big thing at wide receiver. Matthew Stafford just feeds his guy. Calvin Johnson got fed. Calvin Johnson, the best wide receiver season we've ever seen. Then Cooper Kupp, second best wide receiver season we have ever seen. Cooper Kupp with Matthew Stafford. But it looks like Cooper Kupp might be replaced by Puka Nacua in the pecking order now. 9 targets for Cooper Kupp, 10 for Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp catches 5 of them for 27 yards. He's 6th on the team in yards. Cooper Kupp, hate to say it, but Cooper Kupp is on the decline. I'm not going to say he's washed. Obviously, the Lions were paying more attention to Cooper Kupp than they were to Puka Nacua. That showed on the field. 9 receptions, 10 targets, 181 yards, and a touchdown. And Puka Nacua now has the rookie receptions record, the rookie receiving yards record, and the rookie playoff receiving yards record. Puka Nacua is a damn star. Tyler Higbee did tear his ACL in this contest. He is going to miss the start of the season more than likely. Going to be tough to draft Tyler Higbee. He's the kind of guy that maybe you pay attention to waivers on early on in the season, but no sense in drafting a tight end that's probably going to miss the first month of the season. And the Rams might have a new defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, the DC. He's getting interview requests. The Panthers, the Commanders, and the Seahawks, at the very least, have all requested to interview Raheem Morris. The Dolphins also take an L. The Dolphins are now, after the win by the Detroit Lions, and Miami Dolphins have the longest playoff win drought in any sport, any of the big 4 sports in North America, at least. I don't know, maybe soccer or football has a longer playoff win drought, but for the big 4 sports, Dolphins have not won a playoff game since 2000. No extra. No 2021. No 2002. No, it is the year 2000. December 30th, 2000 was the last playoff win by the Miami Dolphins. That win came against the Seattle Seahawks, who were still in the AFC. That's how long it's been since the Miami Dolphins have won in the playoffs. They lose again. Tua Tagovailoa does not want to be out there in the cold. 199 yards. Touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill. A very underthrown touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill that he'll adjust for. There's pass interference, and he ends up taking it to the house anyways. But if not for a terrible throw by Tua Tagovailoa, the Dolphins are shut out. And he's going to be back in 2024, the final year of his deal. $23.171 million for Tua Tagovailoa in 2024. And after that, the Miami Dolphins say they want him back. They say that's the plan. The goal is to have Tua under center for a long time, but is that going to happen? Is he going to get a contract extension this offseason? Stay tuned to Player Profiler Today. We will have that answer at some point for you in the offseason. We're going to be following all of these storylines, including the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns do plan to have Deshaun Watson under center in 2024. Kevin Stefanski reiterated that he is their starting quarterback, though did say that Joe Flacco could return as a backup quarterback. And could Joe Flacco end up replacing Deshaun Watson once again? I wouldn't rule it out at this point, but at the very least, Watson is going to have no threat to his job in 2024 to start the season. As the season progresses and Deshaun Watson plays worse and worse, that could change. We will see. But Joe Flacco, 307 yards, touchdown, and 2 interceptions. He goes down slinging. David Njoku, 93 yards on the day. Amari Cooper, 49 yards on the day. Both of the touchdowns, the pass and the rushing touchdown, are for Kareem Hunt. Because, of course, it's not going to be Jerome Ford. It's going to be Kareem Hunt for everyone in playoff DFS. They were disappointed. But that brings us to the teams that are moving on, the games that we will see in the divisional round. 4 games, 2 in the NFC, 2 in the AFC. Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be heading to Detroit. That was the game I was at. I don't know if my voice sounds off at all. It definitely feels off. It was loud as hell in that stadium. It was electric. I have never felt energy like that in my life. And Jared Goff is the QB of the future for the Detroit Lions. I know you may be saying, Jack, he only had 277 yards and a touchdown. He was outplayed by Matthew Stafford, and I get that. He was. But you were not there at this game at every single commercial break. I don't know if you could hear it during the game because the fans would be quiet once the cameras came back because they didn't want to be loud for Jared Goff. But every commercial break you could hear Jared Goff, Jared Goff. The city of Detroit has bought in to Jared Goff. The Lions have told us for years now that he's not a bridge quarterback. The Lions agent, or at least Jared Goff's agent, has said he expects a contract extension early in the offseason. Everything is telling us that Jared Goff is going to be in Detroit long term. That makes him the perfect QB2 in Dynasty because we know where he's going to be for the next couple of years. We know he's going to have explosive options in Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta. Laporta has a touchdown. St. Brown goes over 100 yards on the day, 110 to be exact. Just Jared Goff is the new Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, we don't know where he's going to play in 2024. He's coming off the Achilles. Jared Goff is the new Kirk Cousins. He is the quintessential QB2 in Dynasty Superflex leagues. Absolutely love it. So we'll see when he gets this extension. He's going to be making over $50 million a year, though, for the Detroit Lions. I'm telling you that right now. Jameson Williams, by the way, only 19 yards, only 2 receptions, but he played well. Jameson Williams on both of his targets played well. He was drawing defenders deep, opening up things over the middle underneath. And Sam Laporta has a touchdown as well. He's clearly hampered by the knee brace. Only 3 receptions, only 19 yards, I think, from Laporta, or no, 14 yards from Sam Laporta. But still, he's playing, and it is beautiful. As for the running backs, 14 carries for David Montgomery. He gets a reception as well. We get 8 carries for Jahmyr Gibbs and 4 receptions. So 12 touches for Gibbs, 15 for David Montgomery, and they both end up with 68 yards and a touchdown. They just always, no matter what, have the exact same stat line. Changes will be coming to the Detroit Lions, though. Ben Johnson has 6 interviews this coming week. They're all going to be on Friday and Saturday. He's preparing for those interviews, expected to become the next head coach of the Washington Commanders, or at least it sounds like the Commanders really want Ben Johnson to be that next guy. But he's interviewing with the Commanders, the Panthers, the Falcons, the Titans, the Chargers, and now the Seahawks have requested it as well. Aaron Glenn, on the other hand, has 4 interviews. The Panthers and the Seahawks did not request interviews with Aaron Glenn, but the Commanders, the Falcons, the Titans, and the Chargers will all interview Aaron Glenn as well. So changes coming to Detroit. Their opponents, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield becomes the first quarterback in Tampa Bay history to throw for over 300 yards and 3 TDs in the playoffs. No, Tom Brady did not have a 3-touchdown, 300-yard performance for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs. Crazy. But Baker Mayfield has earned himself some cash as well. He's not going to get a Jared Goff $50 million deal, but he very well could get a Daniel Jones $40 million deal. That could be on the table from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sounds like he's going to be back. He made $250,000 last night with the win, can make another $250,000 with a win over the Detroit Lions. And they do this win without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin contributing a whole lot. 48 yards from Evans, 45 yards and a touchdown from Chris Godwin, but it was everyone else. It was Cade Otton leading the team with 8 receptions, 89 yards. It was Trey Palmer breaking a 56-yard touchdown. It was David Moore breaking a 44-yard touchdown. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers found a new way to win, dominate against the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Packers dominate against the Dallas Cowboys. We talked about that. Jordan Love with a perfect passer rating. He throws for 3 touchdowns, 272 yards, and a literal perfect passer rating. Jordan Love is the real deal. He decimates the Dallas Cowboys. So does Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones also has 3 touchdowns, all on the ground, 131 yards rushing, or from scrimmage, for Aaron Jones. What a day from Aaron Jones. Romeo Doubs balls out as well, 155 or 51 yards and a touchdown. Luke Musgrave catches a touchdown, comes off of a lacerated kidney to score touchdowns in the playoffs. Dontavian Wicks catches the 3rd touchdown pass from Jordan Love. And Jaden Reed is clearly not his normal self. He's been battling injuries all season, or at least the last couple weeks of the season. 0 for 3 receiving. Jaden Reed apologizes to everyone that placed prop bets on him, says he's going to be back next week. And I believe him. Jaden Reed is the wide receiver 1 for the Green Bay Packers. He's just not fully healthy right now. As for the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey is fully healthy. Christian McCaffrey is back at practice, says he would have played in week 18 if it actually mattered. So he's had week 18 off, round 1 of the wild card off. Christian McCaffrey, good to go this weekend against the Green Bay Packers. As for the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud, he is him. He is the real deal. 3 touchdowns from CJ Stroud, 274 yards, touchdown to Nico Collins. And really, the biggest story, at least for me, the thing that stood out most to me was, remember Dameon Pierce? 3 carries, 0 yards. Instead, it's Devin Singletary getting 16 touches, scoring a touchdown, 70 yards. Oh, Dameon Pierce, just what a time. What a time that was. As for the Baltimore Ravens, they are looking good. They are looking healthy. They are ready to take on the Houston Texans. That is going to be an exciting matchup. But the main event will be Kansas City Chiefs at Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, 3 touchdowns through the air, scores a touchdown, a 52-yarder on the ground. People are complaining, oh, Josh Allen with the fake slide. And no, that was not a fake slide. That was just a Josh Allen juke. Tell me you've never seen Josh Allen play football before if you think that was a fake slide. No, Josh Allen is just a large, lumbering man. He does not change directions very easily once he starts getting ahead of steam. But a great day from Josh Allen. Dominates the Pittsburgh Steelers. We see Dalton Kincaid catch a touchdown. We see Dawson Knox catch a touchdown. And we see Khalil Shakir, who should be the wide receiver 2 for the Buffalo Bills, over Gabe Davis. We see him go for an absolutely electric touchdown. Gabe Davis does not make that play that Khalil Shakir does, almost tackled, and then he pinballs his way to the end zone. Bills will host the Kansas City Chiefs. This will be the first road game of Patrick Mahomes' career. Every AFC playoff game that Patrick Mahomes has played has been in Kansas City. The only time he's been away from Kansas City in the playoffs is the Super Bowl, which isn't an away game. That's just the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, 262 yards, touchdown to Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice, by the way, great day from the rookies. No Puka Nacua, but 130 yards and a touchdown from Rashee Rice is pretty incredible. Travis Kelce has a good day. You'll see misogynists like Duvie Kleiman saying that Travis Kelce never dropped 3 passes in a playoff game until he started dating Taylor Swift. How about the fact that it was literally negative degrees Fahrenheit? It was the 4th coldest game in NFL history. That is the reason that Travis Kelce has 3 drops in a game, because it was cold as hell. But still 71 yards, 7 receptions from Travis Kelce. He's fading, but he's not quite cooked yet. Travis Kelce still has a little bit of juice. He is not expected to retire this offseason, unlike his brother. Travis Kelce going to be back for another year, playing second fiddle to Rashee Rice, and maybe they add another wide receiver as well. But Isaiah Pacheco has another great day, 88 yards and a touchdown from him. But it's those 3. It's Isaiah Pacheco rushing the football, Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce catching the football. The only other player with more than 2 receptions was Justin Watson. Sorry, he's the only other player with more than 1 reception. He catches 2 for 20 yards. It's a very consolidated target share in Kansas City. But that brings us to the teams that are not in the playoffs and looking for new head coaches just to run things down. We all know Brandon Staley was fired months ago. Jim Harbaugh is the favorite to land with the Los Angeles Chargers. The second favorite is him returning to Michigan. So right now it's minus 150 for him to be the Chargers' next head coach, but plus 100 for Jim Harbaugh to not head to the NFL, which would mean he's back at Michigan. And he's seeking immunity. If he returns to Michigan, Jim Harbaugh says he wants immunity from the NCAA investigation that could get him suspended for at least a year, if not longer. So we'll see what happens with Jim Harbaugh, but it sounds like he's going to the Chargers. And then we've got the Washington Commanders. We already talked about it. Ben Johnson expected to be the next head coach of the Washington Commanders. They are expected to outbid the Carolina Panthers. And I don't know who the Panthers' next head coach is going to be. That is the one team that I have just no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea who the favorite is. Every other team is pretty predictable, right? We all expect the Chargers to hire Jim Harbaugh. We all expect Ben Johnson to be hired by the Commanders. Panthers, I have no idea. Falcons, we expect to hire Bill Belichick. He is the clear favorite. He met with Atlanta yesterday. They're interviewing other people as well, but so far, it seems like the Falcons are focusing on defensive-minded people, and it really sounds like Bill Belichick is going to be the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, a team he embarrassed in the Super Bowl. Raiders are expected to retain Antonio Pierce. Max Crosby, their edge rusher, has said, if Antonio Pierce is not our next head coach, I will request a trade. Antonio Pierce won the locker room. Antonio Pierce going to be the Raiders' next head coach. Don't rule out John Gruden. That's the only other name that I'm hearing for the Raiders, but we'll get to John Gruden in just a second. Seahawks were expected to hire Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator, back when they won the Super Bowl, but we'll see after that performance by the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. They've also requested Raheem Morris, Patrick Graham. Those are defensive coordinators for the Rams and Raiders, respectively. Then they've requested Ben Johnson, the Lions OC, Frank Smith, the Dolphins OC, and Mike Kafka, the Giants offensive coordinator as well. Titans expected to land Bobby Slowick, the passing game or the offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. He was the passing game coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers, where he worked with Ran Carthon. This is the one I'm least certain on. All of the other ones, it seems like there's a pretty strong preference. Whereas the Titans, it seems like Bobby Slowick is the favorite, but they're going to do a full search, and we'll see what ends up happening there. There are a couple teams that there are a couple teams that need new offensive coordinators, including the Chicago Bears. They have been interviewing a lot of Kyle Shanahan disciples, a lot of that West Coast play action wide zone scheme. But then we get a different San Francisco offensive coordinator interviewing with the Chicago Bears. That's Greg Roman. Greg Roman is going to interview for the Chicago Bears. I doubt he gets the job, but if Greg Roman did get the job, that'd be a pretty strong indication that Justin Fields is going to be back with the Chicago Bears. He has worked well with mobile quarterbacks in the past, Lamar Jackson, Colin Kaepernick. Eventually, the Greg Roman offense gets figured out, and you need to take that next step, but Greg Roman would be a great offensive coordinator for Justin Fields to build, because he's not there yet, but to continue to build. So we'll see what they do. And we'll see what the New Orleans Saints do. They fire offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael earlier today. Carmichael is the one coach, that was with Sean Payton for the entire era. He has been there since the beginning with Sean Payton, and now there are still plenty of coaches that worked with Sean Payton, but he was the last one that had been there from the beginning. They also fire a senior offensive assistant and the wide receiver coach. And I mentioned John Gruden earlier, that there are rumors that he could return to the Las Vegas Raiders. I really do think it's Antonio Pierce. But we're also hearing rumors that John Gruden could end up getting a job with New Orleans Saints. Don't be surprised if John Gruden is the next offensive coordinator of the Saints. And then that'd be a pretty good situation for him, because the offense has success, but the team doesn't win. That's an easy replacement, because Dennis Allen is, or at least should be, on the hot seat after his team disrespected him, ignored what he said. Dennis Allen said to kneel at the 1 yard line. Jameis Winston changes the play, gets Jamal Williams the touchdown, which I think they should have got Jamal Williams the touchdown. I don't think they should have I think they should have rewarded a player when the team says, hey, we want to reward this guy. And the coach says, no, I don't want to do that. And the team ignores you. The team doesn't respect you. I just wish it wasn't in the kneel down formation, because that's how people get hurt. And yeah, that's my sense on it. I wish it was a regular play. I love that Jameis Winston goes rogue and changes the play, but it just means Dennis Allen is not respected there. Maybe it's John Gruden that is the next head coach of the New Orleans Saints after a stint as offensive coordinator. Giants sticking with Brian Daboll as their as their head coach. But we mentioned Mike Kafka earlier, the offensive coordinator. He could be on the way out. We read a report earlier this week that Brian Daboll just very inconsistent. No really rhyme or reason to a lot of the things he does. He took the play calling away from Mike Kafka multiple times during the season, but not in a calculated way, in a kind of way is just almost rage quitting in Madden. And I don't know if that relationship is tenable anymore, is basically how I read the conversation. So Brian Daboll could be looking for a new OC, could be looking for, or is already looking for a new defensive coordinator. The Giants and Brian Daboll could be a rough 2024 season because Daniel Jones at quarterback. Are you going to draft the new one in Jaden Daniels or Drake May or whoever? I don't know. I am not expecting good things for the New York Giants in 2024, but I am expecting good things in college football in 2024, specifically EA Sports. They are back. EA Sports College Football has announced that July 12th, 2024 is the target date for the release of EA Sports College Football. Wow. Just wow.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.